Hey guys, it's MyklSkeleton here. I've been doing a couple unboxing videos lately and I thought I'd do something different today and do a how to play of Friday by Friedmann Friese. It's a solo only game, and it's fairly compact and small. I'd say it takes about 30 minutes to play if you actually win it. You can lose a lot quicker than that though. So I thought I'd just take you through how to set it up, how you play, how you win or lose, and kind of go through a couple example actions. So let's do that, shall we? So here I've got the way I set it up. I'm not sure if that's the recommended way, but this is the way I do it. So this is going to hold the encounter cards. This is going to hold our deck. And these are the aging cards that come out throughout the game that are negative, they're bad. And then this shows you what level you're on. There's green, yellow, and red. You start at green. All the encounters are easier. And then as you deplete the encounter deck, you'll flip it from green to yellow. Encounters get a little bit harder. Once it's depleted again, you'll flip it to red. Encounters get even harder. And then, once you're through it a third time, all the way through the red, then you fight the pirates. So I just have everything in the box kind of laid out here randomly. Well, not randomly, but to show you how you're going to set it up. First thing is, I have not played it with the very stupid card, but I do remember it told you to take that out of the game. So I always put that one away. Then you've got these cards here. They've got the same back, your deck and the encounter cards. So what you're going to want to do is go through and sort the ones with just this fence on the bottom. That is your starting deck. And then sort out the ones without the fence on the bottom. And this is the encounter deck, actually. It's going to go like this. And you're going to shuffle both of these up and put them on their respective tiles up here. The last thing you're going to do is sort out the cards with the aging Robinson Crusoe picture on the fence at the bottom. These are the aging cards. There's 3 white ones, and I don't know how many of these non-white ones. And you're going to take the non-white, shuffle them, and put them on top of the white. So, for instance, here, we'll just shuffle it a little bit there. So those are the white aging cards. They come out last. They're worse. And then we'll just shuffle the non-white ones, the regular ones, put those on top. And those go on the aging deck. All right. So then your encounter cards, once you've got those all separated from your deck, you're just going to shuffle them up. We're pretty much already shuffled. And you're going to put that on the encounter plaque there. And then your deck. So one thing to note about your deck is it's a lot of zeros and ones. I believe, let's see here. So we've got a 2, a 1, and another 1. So those are the only good cards in your deck, really. So you've got 3 1s, a 2, and the rest are 0 or -1. So obviously I had all my good cards on top. I better shuffle this up. And so that's good to know. The first time through your deck, you're going to want to know when you've used all your 1s and 2s and when's it can only be bad for you. Alright, so you place your deck on here. We've got the aging cards and we've got the encounter cards. And then finally we've got the pirate cards. There's a whole bunch of them. And you're going to pick 2 randomly. And these are going to be the pirates you fight at the end of the game. Whoops, I lost one. Alright, pick that one up. So you can look at these. You're going to fight them in any order at the very end if you make it that far. So I pretty much just put them off to the side and don't really think about them until I'm on the red level. And then that's when I start thinking about them a lot more. Final thing for setup is your life tokens. So you're going to start with 20 life. These are like little wheat meeples. or grain meeples, I guess, and 2 are going to be used up already. So you got 20 in your pile and 2 in your used up, because some cards let you gain 1 or 2 life, so you can actually pull those out. All right, so then you're set up and ready to go. And you lose the game if you run out of life. So let's say these were all used up and you need to take another life. So if you fail an encounter, you'll have to pay grain for every number you fail by, which will make more sense when I explain that part. So you can actually run out of life and still be in the game, but if you fail again and need to take a life from your pile and you don't have any, you lose. You win the game, as I said before, if you get through the encounter deck 3 times, green, yellow, and red, and then you win the pirates. And you got to win both of them. And then you've won the game. There is a way to score the game. Win or lose, I generally only score when I have won. But you can, if you want to gauge how much you lost by, you can always score that too. So that is set up. We have our 20 life. We've got our deck. We've got our aging cards ready to go and our encounter deck ready to go. And now I'm going to take you through a few turns and show you what you do on a turn. All right, so how do you play Friday? It's fairly simple, at least what you do on your turn. You have the encounter deck. You're going to draw 2 cards, and you're going to choose one of them to face. So we drew wild animals, and with the raft to the wreck, we have 3 numbers on the right-hand side, green, yellow, red. These correspond to what level we are doing. So we start on green. When we go through the encounter deck, we'll switch it to the next one, which is yellow, and then red. And the number inside is what we need to get to pass it. So we either need to get a 0 or we need to get a 4. So this one's considerably harder, especially at the beginning. Now, you do this by drawing cards from your deck, and with the raft to the wreck, we will draw 1 card, and we need to get 0. And wild animals, we will draw 4 cards, and we need to get a 4. The other thing to note, remember, is that there are negative cards in our deck, so even though we're only drawing 1, we could end up at -1 and fail this. And the other thing to always consider is, what are you getting for it? So if we flip these cards over, if we pass the encounter, we add it to our deck. So if we pass with the raft to the wreck, we will get a card that is worth 0. So if we flip it, it's just 0 points, but we can use it to get a life every time we pull it off the top of the deck. Of course, the reward for wild animals is a lot better. We would get a card that's worth 3, and right now we've only got 1s and 2s in our deck, and 0s and -1s, and we can also use it to get another card to add to the encounter. So, beginning of the game, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to do with the raft to the wreck. The other card is just simply discarded. And when we go through this whole deck, we'll shuffle the discards and go through it again, so it's not gone completely. So now we draw our 1 card from our deck. Boom. And we put it on the left-hand side. We drew weak. It's a 0. We needed 0. So we completed that encounter. So we flip this card over, and we now add this to the discard. So now we're going to discard both of those. Everything we used, and if we completed it, it goes into this. When we go through our deck, we're going to shuffle the discard up and do it again. And so next time through the deck, we'll have that card available to us. If we didn't complete it, we would put it over here. So let's do another one. So with the raft to the wreck again, and this time, and wild animals again. All right, so obviously I didn't plan this out. So the rewards for these are a little different. So the rewards for With the Raft to the Wreck is a 0 cost card with a phase -1. So if we were in the red phase and drew this card, which we normally need 11, and draw 4 cards getting that 11, we could actually drop down 1 if we pulled this card and used it. So we would actually only need 7. So that's the phase -1. And exchange is a little different because you can exchange one of the cards you've already pulled for a new one off the top of your deck. But I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. So for the interest of showing you what happens when you fail an encounter, I'm going to choose wild animals this time. I'm going to discard With the Raft to the Wreck, and we're going to do wild animals. So we need a 4, and we get 4 cards. We're going to pull 1. That's not good. We got a -1. Now, I should say that you can stop at any time. You don't have to pull all 4. So if I got a 4 after pulling 3 cards, let's say I got my 1, 1, and 2, then I could just stop. I don't have to pull the 4th card, and I can say this is successful. That's only if you win it, because you don't want to pull a -1 if you've already got it, right? Okay. But we did not get it. We're at -1, so we're going to pull 3 more. Oh, we got focus, which is worth 1. We got weak, which is worth 0. And we got weak, which is worth 0. So we've got a total of 0 here. We needed a 4. So what happens now is you can use any abilities on these cards. So let's say that new food card that I just won was pulled instead of weak. I could tap it and get a life. I can just pull a life right out. Boom, added to my total. And we tap it to show we already used it. So obviously if a card is tapped, we can't use it again. But I didn't do that, so I'm putting that back, and keeping weak here. So you can use any abilities on any of your cards at this point. And we are losing by 4 points. So we've got 0 and we needed 4. If we had 1 and we needed 4, we'd be losing by 3. If we didn't pull that 1 and had a -1 and we needed a 4, we'd be losing by 5. What that means is if we've lost by 4, like we have here, we need to pay 4 life and then we can move on. Okay, so I'm going to lose these 4 life, and this encounter card is going to be lost, so it goes back into the encounter discard. These 4 cards that are in my deck are fine. They didn't do anything for me, but they will go into my deck discard, so I'll have them again the next time I shuffle up those. But what's interesting is now you can pay. I'm losing 4 life, and for every 1 life I lose, I can discard a card here. So I could say, I'm losing this 4 life. I'm going to pay 1 to get rid of the game completely, weak. I'm going to pay another 1 to get rid of the game completely, the other week. And I'm going to pay another 1 to get rid of the game completely, my distracted. So these 3 cards that did me no good this turn are now out of the game. I like to put them just up there so I don't use them anymore. So, but I lost all 4. I'm not using my other 1 life that I'm losing to get rid of my good card, focus. No, I'm thinning my deck. I'm keeping the good one, discarding the encounter I lost, and removing from the game 3 cards that did me no good. All right, makes sense? Okay, so let's do one more, and I'll show you one other important thing. So, with the Raft to the Wreck, pull 1 card, get 0, and further exploring the island, pull 3 cards and try and get 2. Let's do the harder one. So I'm discarding that one that I'm not choosing. And now we're going to pull 3 cards. So 1. Okay, Well, here's the example I said. We pulled one and we already met it, so we don't have to pull the other two. I don't want to pull any -1s in there. And any other ones, anything you go over doesn't help you any. So I'm just going to say we won this. So we won that. And now this ability, it's a card that's going to be added to our discard. It's worth 2 and it's got sort 3 cards. If we ever pulled this and used it by tapping it, we'd get a look at the top 3 cards of our deck. And discard one if we choose and put the others on top in any order. So it's a pretty handy one for later in the game. So that was a good one. So let's do it again. I still didn't get to show you what I was going to. Alright, let's do further exploring the island. Draw 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so we've got -1 and we needed 2. So this is where we can actually spend a life to draw another card. So I can put 1 life back in, out of the game, draw another card off the top of our deck. We put these on the right-hand side. So now we're at 0, and we need 2. I could spend another life and do it again. Draw another card. Eating. All right, this one's good. So now I can tap it and get 2 life. I'm going to pull 2 life out of here, add it back. So we're at 0, we need 2. Let's spend another life. Get another one. You can do this unlimited times. So we are at 1 and we need 2. And remember, there's only 3 1s in our deck. So we need to get that other 1 to win this. And it's going to give us a 2 card with a +1 life, which is decent. So let's just say we keep going. 1. Draw another card. Oh, now we're in trouble. We got a -1. Okay, now we want to stop, let's say. So we've got a total of 0 still. If you add up everything over here and everything over here, we're at 0. And we needed 2. So we're losing 2 life. And we want to get rid of 1 life to get rid of distracted, and another life to get rid of the other distracted. So we're losing 2 life, and we're getting rid of 2 really bad cards in our deck. So we put those 2 cards in the disc, out of the game completely. We'll pile up everything else. Those go into our discards. We lost this encounter, so it goes into the encounter discard. Alright, so that's basically it. When you get down to the last of the encounter deck, let's just flip this for the sake of flipping it. If you have an odd number of cards, so you end up with 1 left, you can flip it, and you can decide whether to do it or not. So you can just say, I don't think I'm going to do that one, put it back here, be done with it, or you can be like, hey, that's actually doable, or that gives me something good enough, I want to try and do it. So if you're ever left with only 1 card left in the encounter deck, you flip that one and decide whether or not to do it. You don't get penalized for not doing it. Then, once the encounter deck is empty, you switch to the next phase. So green, then yellow, then red. You shuffle this deck back up and go through it again, just like we did before. But now we are on yellow. So instead of having to get 4, I now have to get 7, and instead of now having to get 0, I now have to get 1, and you draw the same amount of cards, and the reward is the same as it was before. Alright? When you get through your deck, so let's say, and you have to draw another card, so let's say I'm encountering this one, and I need to draw 4 cards, and I'm empty. You take one of the aging cards, and without looking at it, you add it to your deck, and shuffle that deck back up. And all the aging cards are very bad. This one is your stupid, and you get -2. So you're going to add that to your discard. You're not going to know what that one is until it comes up. You're going to shuffle this, put it back, and draw your 4. So as you get through your deck more and more, you're going to add more and more aging cards. Now the interesting thing about aging cards is, let's say we did this encounter, we drew 4. Oh boy, that was horrible. So we are at -3, and we needed 4, so we're losing 7 life. Oh, horrible. I would hope this never happens in the game. So there's 6, there's 7. So remember, you can, for every life you lost, you can get rid of one of these bad cards. Or one of these cards in your deck. That's why it shows that one symbol. So I could spend 3 and get rid of all 3 of those that aren't really doing anything in my deck. Now these aging cards take 2. So I could spend the 3 to get rid of those 3. I could do 2 to get rid of that aging cards. And it is, just like the other ones, removed from the game completely. Gone, done. And even though we didn't spend these to get rid of cards, we still lose all 7 life. And that would have been not a horrible turn, besides the fact that we've only got 5 life left, but we got rid of tons of cards we did not need. This obviously would have been failed. Alright, so the last thing is when you've gone through the encounter deck twice, you'll be on red level, and then when you run out of encounter cards, you're done, you have to fight the pirates. So, the pirates. These you treat just like normal encounter cards. And that is the number you need to get to, and that's the number of cards you draw. And you cannot fail this. Now you draw 2 random pirates out of the 10 or whatever there are in the game. You can encounter them in any order, and you know what they are from the beginning. So you could say, hey, I'm going to encounter this guy first, and you're just going to draw 8, see if you get 30. Probably not going to get 30, but that's where you got to spend your life to draw more cards over on the right. And by the end of the game, you're going to have tons of these cards. You'll have very little of your initial deck in the game at the end. But you're going to have tons of these cards that you can use the special abilities on. So some will say, well, phase -1 isn't going to do anything. +1 card. So if you drew this, you can tap it, +1 card. You just get to add another card to the encounter. You don't have to spend a life to do it. That's what that one does. Exchange, like this guy. Exchange lets you take 1 card and discard it and draw another one in its place. And it's a 1-time exchange. There are 2-time exchanges. There's +1 life and +2 life. There's the sort cards. I mean, in the rule book, it tells you what all these do. Ooh, the good one is like a 1-time double. So if you double something, then a 3 is worth a 6. Obviously, you can't double the same thing more than once, but you can do 2 doubles on 2 different cards. Copy lets you copy the ability. So if this one was a copy, I could copy its ability and draw a card. I mean, there's just tons. +1 card, +1, 1-time destroy. So destroying actually flips the card, makes it a 0, and then when you're done, it's removed from the game. That's great for getting rid of aging cards. Double, copy, phase -1, sort 3 cards, and exchange. Okay, so we've gone over all of them. Oh, below the stack. So you would tap the below the stack, and you can take one of your cards, usually aging or a negative, and put it at the bottom of your draw pile. So if you can get, and once you win 1 pirate, now you're on to the next pirate. Same rules apply when you go through this deck and you need to draw another card. You add an aging card to it, shuffle your discards, and there you go. This pirate has a special ability. You need 52 to win it. You get to draw 10 cards, but each face-up fighting card counts +1 point. So these aren't worth 3, these are worth 4. This isn't worth 0, this is worth 1. So this one is actually, I found, one of the easier ones to win, just because you're going to have like 20 cards out trying to win this guy, and that's +20 points right there. And that's it. So I guess I should mention the scoring. Like I said, I don't usually score unless I win, but the rule book clearly lays it out. So you take all your fighting cards from the Robinson stack and the Robinson discard pile, and you add up all their values. So zeros, threes, you just add them all up. All aging cards are worth -5, no matter what they say. You add 15 points for each pirate you defeated. So if you won the game, you get plus 30 points. If you won one pirate, you get 15 points, and if you lost the game and didn't even get to the pirates, you're going to get 0. You add 5 points for each remaining life point you still have. So that's, 5 points times 5 is 25. And then you subtract 3 points for any unbeaten hazard. So you count up everything in the discard, and I guess these aren't encounters, these are hazards. I'm just saying it wrong the whole time. You add up however many cards you have left and subtract 3 points from it. And that's your total. Yeah, and that's the game. I find this pretty fun. I lose more often than I win, but if I play it, 2 or 3 times, I usually win by the 3rd time. I kind of get in the groove of things. It's very challenging. There's ways to make it harder. I can't say I've ever done that. I think you add aging cards in at the beginning of the game, something like that, or you add in that very stupid card we took out. I'm not sure. Maybe you just put that in the aging deck. One thing to note is the last cards in the aging deck are horrible. -4s, -5s, -2 life. I've only gotten to that once. And otherwise it plays pretty smooth. It's pretty easy, but for some, relatively straightforward rules by the end, when you've got like 20 cards trying to fight this pirate, there's a lot you can do, and it's essentially just a deck builder. You're trying to thin your deck of the negative cards, the 0 cards, and win encounters with the easy hazards that add good stuff to your deck. And then even later in the game, what used to be good cards, like a 0 with a phase -1, when you're getting to the pirates, you don't really want that card anymore. So you start trying to thin it out of those things. Overall, I really enjoy it. So that was Friday by Friedmann Friese, solo-only game. Nice little small box. I've only got 20 or 30 minutes and the wife doesn't want to play anything. I'll pull this out. I highly recommend it. It's a good and hard solo game. I find solo games can either go one way or the other, either really easy or really hard. And all right, so that was a how to play and how to set up Friday. And a little different than what I usually do. So let me know in the comments if you like videos of this style. Instead of just unboxings, would you like me to do how to play games? And how was I at explaining this game? Did it make sense? Were you confused? Do you still not know what you're supposed to do? Was there something I didn't go over? Was there something I got wrong? Let me know in the comments. And if you did enjoy it, please, please, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. That way I can keep track of everything and know what you guys want to see. All right? And this is MyklSkeleton signing out.